Yeah, hi everybody, Ryan back with you here again. Back at home for the weekend, headed back out to Idaho here Monday night with a load that I picked up this morning. Everything went good on that, so be going over that later. But while I was here and I got my wife's better camera, I wanted to do a video on this PDI Power Big Boss power tuner. And because I know my camera kept like throwing pulses down it, so hopefully this one will get you a nice picture of it, and I'll show you the features and kind of my take on it. I just did an update on it, which is a lot more impressive than it was originally. So there's a couple more features that they did put on there, and kind of a whole new layout. And like I said before, I was kind of neutral about it, but now it's kind of going positive. But with that, we'll go ahead and show you the screen here. Okay, so this is the home screen right here. You got three different options. I'll go to gauges first. This is what I usually have up when I'm running down the road. And you can set this up any way you want, but I like to watch my DPF and SCR temperatures. So I've got SCR in, DPF out, SCR out. And that way I can see whenever I'm doing a regen. Because normally, like when I'm normally running down the road, I'm about 550, 600 degrees. And when I'm doing a regen down the road, it'll kick up to about 1,000, 1,100 or so right in there. So that way I kind of know what's going on with it, and I can keep an eye on those temperatures and make sure my sensors are working fine back there. Then in the center I've got the boost, which I keep an eye on. So what you can do, you can set this up any way you want. You can just click on these, and it gives you a whole list. I mean, so you have all these choices. You can put vehicle. You can put your vehicle speed in the center. Fuel economy, fuel rate, anything you want, you can set these up. So you got 5 options there that you can basically set this up any way you want it. This little triangle down here, that's when you have a service code. I mean, this one, I've got one. Basically, I did a DPF clean a while back, and I never did do the DPF install with Cummins ISX15. So this is based on mileage or hours, so it's going to keep throwing it up, even though it's not technically a service code. But what it is, it has the little wrench that pops up, and it's not an actual engine fault. But if I do have something pop up, it'll show it on here, and you can actually clear them and delete them. But this will not. If you have a D rate, this won't clear a D rate. It'll deactivate it or put it in an active state, but it will kick back in later on, like that. The Bosch video I showed you guys with that Bosch HTS 200, 250, that will clear a D rate on the Cummins ISX anyways. The pack cars are a little bit different. I never derated the pack car, but I know on this engine, the Cummins ISX15, this is a CM2250, a 2012 engine. That Bosch will delete it, but like I said, this will just deactivate it, and it will come back. It won't, after so long, it'll come back on and derate your engine. So that's gauges. Next I'm going to go to programming, and with this you have 3 different options here. You can do stock, power, or economy. I've had this running on power since I've had it, and at that I'm supposed to be seeing about 15% horsepower gain. And I think they said, don't quote me, as far as your emissions optimization and all that, you're supposed to see about a 19%, I think, better, less carbon output through DPF and all that. I haven't tried it on the economy or stock yet. So I mean, I run the speed limits everywhere. So I mean, if 70, 70, if 75. I mean, I don't run 80 too much. Where I can, Utah, Wyoming, Nevada, I mean, it's 80 in those states. I still usually run 75, but my average with this truck running 70, 75, I'm at about 6 miles per gallon, and that's pretty well. I get a little bit better loaded, or sorry, not loaded. I drop down maybe 0.2, 0.3 mile per gallon when I'm loaded versus empty. But so I haven't noticed a huge difference in fuel economy, but like I said, I'm running 342 rear ends in this and a 10-speed. And this engine is originally a 475 ST. It's a multi-torque, or a smart torque as Cummins calls it. So with that horsepower gain, I mean, I should be putting me up around 530, 540-ish, I guess, on the horsepower. I don't know how much of a torque gain there is. The last time I came over Donner Pass a few weeks ago, I was at right at 80,000. I had to load out of Fresno that I took up to Idaho, up to Burley, Idaho. And I always come across there, you know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, but I was going eastbound up Donner, and I actually, about the slowest I got down to was about 45. I mean, most of it I was pulling 55, and I try to run 60, you know, if I can run 60, I will. But, so I mean, for a 10 speed with this horsepower and torque on this engine, I don't think that's, I think that's probably pretty good. So next thing is settings. You got Wi-Fi. You can do updates on this with your Wi-Fi, but I would tell you to search all the networks. If you're going to use your phone hotspot, make sure you change it to the 2.4 gigahertz. It will not pick the Wi-Fi up at 5 gigahertz. It doesn't recognize it. So because I had that problem for a while, I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't work, and then I actually looked on my phone and it said some devices won't recognize it. So I switched to the 2.4, then it picked it up, then it did this huge updated my tunes and everything. So it was, like I said, I like this layout a whole lot better than what it used to be before the update. So go back to settings, vehicle settings. This is a really nice feature if you're going to Canada, to Ontario and Quebec. You can set your, you have to have the speed limiter up there at 65 miles an hour. So you can go in here. So if you guys in Canada, if you want to come down to the US and kick your speed back up, or vice versa, if you're from America and you're going up there and you need to be limited, then when you come back down, you want to be able to run 70, 75. What you can do, like I got mine set probably higher than it should be, but so you can go in here and you can edit it. So I can put 65 in for my speed. It takes a second, and like I said, you have to have the key on the whole time while you're doing this. And it sets it at 65, and then I can actually go into the truck if I can remember what truck info, engine info. Sorry, I can't remember where this is at. Okay, here we go. Chassis info. Sorry, that took a while. I couldn't remember where it was at. Or not. Oh, engine info. So there, now I got governed speed at 65, is what you're looking at. So now, so if they pull you over and they check it, you're gonna be at 65. Now let's go back in here and we change it. So now we're actually updated again, so it changed the speed. So it's a really nice feature if you're doing cross-border, going to Canada, especially into to Ontario and Quebec. I mean, the other western provinces, you don't have to worry about it. But so like me, when I'm going across, I'll stop, pull over on the side of the road a half mile from the border. You have to shut the truck off, turn the key on, because it won't update it while the truck's running. So you have to turn it off, have the ignition on, then you can update these both to 65. Then you go across the border. Then when you come back, you can pull over, and when you're doing your border crossing on your EOD, I go back in and change this, set this back up to whatever I want. So you can kind of do it on the fly, and it's compliant with them and all that. So it's really nice for that. But, so other than that, sorry that took a while. I couldn't remember where that was at. So this will give you all your engine information on here. Gauge settings, there's a couple different setups. I mean, I like the 5 gauge. I mean, you can put 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to do. Vehicle diagnostics, they just did an update on this, and I really like these diagnostics. They just added the diagnostic test. So you can do a check, and that'll check for any fault codes. Again, I have that service code on here for the DPF. It won't clear for that, but when you do a clear, if you do have a code, it does the clicking and all that, like when you're starting the truck up. But this new diagnostic test is what I really like. They just added. You can actually do a forced regen with this now, and it does a really good regen. I mean, it does a lot better than what the regen button on the truck does. I mean, usually with if I hit the button, I mean, there's going to be certain, for the truck to do it itself, there's going to be certain parameters met. I mean, you got to have a certain amount of soot build up before to do it by itself. And usually this truck would only do it about a half hour, 40 minutes on the truck button. But with this feature now, the last time I did it, the first time I did it when I did this update and it added this feature, it did a regen for like an hour and a half. I mean, it really did its thing. And now my progressive regens or running regens on the highway, they've gotten a lot shorter since I've been doing these parked regens or forced regens. But you got a DPF restriction test, and that's basically going to tell how much your DPF is plugged up. So that's on here as well now. And it has to be running for both of these. So that's a really nice feature. Then your software update, you connect it to Wi-Fi, and then it'll go ahead and see if anything needs to be updated. So we're not going to connect to Wi-Fi now. Then you can have it sleep, which turns it off. Device controls, you can set your brightness, sound, and all that stuff. I've never heard any sound on this. And yeah, I guess if you got technical support, you can actually, if you're on Wi-Fi, you can upload a lot. If there's been any events or anything, you can upload that information to PDI, so for support with them. And restore to factory settings. So yeah, if you wanted to put everything back, you could do that. So, but that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm getting a little bit better, I guess. I was kind of neutral about it. They are kind of expensive, but especially now that they added that forced regen feature, that's really nice. Now, like I know a lot of times I'd want to do a parked regen or forced regen, and you hit the button and it doesn't do it because there's criteria that's not met in the software to do it, and this will force it to do it. Because every other 2 or 3 days, I mean, I like to do a good parked regen to clean that DPF out. So that's a really nice feature with it. Like I said, it is kind of pricey, and I mean, I think for the powertrain setup I got, I mean, I think there's definitely a horsepower gain, or even a torque gain with some of the loads and some of the grades I pull. So I mean, like I said, it's kind of pricey. I mean, you might want to shop around, see what other options there are, but I don't think it's a terrible purchase. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And sorry it took a while to get this out to you because with the issues with my other camera. But like I said, if you got any questions or anything specific, let us know. Our email is on the About page. If you need that, email anything that's more personal or specific. But specific. But that's pretty much it. So if you like the video, like us. Like I said, subscribe, and we'll keep doing what we do. So thanks for watching.